Hey everyone, so in today's video, we'll be going over 5 very common hiring mistakes that most people make. Obviously, hiring good people is one of the most crucial aspects of any successful business. It can really make or break the whole operation. That's why it's super important for you guys to avoid these 5 very common mistakes. Now, a little bit about me. I'm Charlie. I run an overseas staffing company called Paired. I also run a bunch of other content businesses. And collectively, we have almost 20 employees currently. So I've learned a lot. I've made hiring mistakes. Yeah, hopefully this video can help you guys out. So the first mistake that people make is they hire in the wrong geographical location. They think they need to hire locally in order to get the maximum output. However, this is just not true, and it really depends on what type of position you're hiring. So for example, certain positions, yes, it may be beneficial for you to hire locally where you guys can work in person. For my businesses, I currently have 1 person here in the US local, and everyone else is overseas. If you think you only can hire in the US or whatever country you're currently located in, I encourage you guys to do some research and look into hiring overseas, because this has been the biggest game changer for me ever. You don't need to pay $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 per month for a worker locally, right? Instead, you can outsource that position to overseas and likely pay between $500 to $800 per month full time. Certain positions such as project managers, assistants, executive assistants, video editors, graphic designers, programmers, web developers, all these positions, they can be outsourced. I also think it's much nicer to have a remote team versus an in-person team. It removes a lot of headaches. It removes a lot of drama. And personally, yeah, I think this is the way to go to build any business. I personally really enjoy hiring in Indonesia. After hiring in pretty much every country there is in the world, I've decided that Indonesia is my favorite. They just have the best combination of affordability, talent, English speaking skills, as well as loyalty and dedication. Okay, the second mistake that people make is they don't give proper assessments as they are trying to choose who to hire. The type of assessment that you give to potential candidates is very crucial. If you don't choose an assessment that correctly mimics the tasks for the actual job, you're going to get people that maybe excel at that current assessment, but they aren't actually good for the job. And so that's why I really recommend take your time, create a great assessment. In terms of tips I have for assessments, don't create an assessment that is too long. This really depends on what type of job you are searching for. But if the assessment takes over, let's say 2 or 3 hours, chances are that's going to deter a lot of potential applicants, and it's going to drastically decrease the amount of people that you can actually choose from. So choose an assessment that takes maybe 1 to 3 hours maximum. Make it really representative of the actual job that you're hiring for, and create a very detailed instructions manual for that assessment. It should be something that they read and know exactly what to do, how to submit, and how they can do the best job possible. Okay, the third hiring mistake is actually something that happens after you find the perfect hire. A lot of people, they think, hey, if I find the best hire, if I sort through hundreds of candidates and find the best one, the moment that I onboard that person, they are going to be perfect. They're going to know exactly what to do. They're going to know our systems. There's not going to be any mistakes, and I'm going to absolutely love everything they do. This is far from the truth. This has literally never happened to me, but I will say some of my best workers today, they started off making mistakes, and there was a pretty long onboarding period. And what I'm basically saying is you need to have a very detailed and lengthy onboarding. This will usually take between 2 to 4 weeks, and during that time, you're really going to need to be hands-on with them. It's going to be okay if they make mistakes as long as they learn from them. During this time, it's also extremely critical that you guys have very consistent accountability calls. I'd say at least once a day or minimum 3 times per week. Have them write up reports of what they did, any questions that they have. Make sure you actually answer those questions. And yeah, having a quality hire, it's not an easy thing. Even if you are given the best candidates possible, onboarding them, it does take a lot of time, and you do need to have patience. But I guarantee you, if you get through that onboarding period and go in knowing, hey, it's going to take some mistakes, it's going to take some frustration on both parties, then you're really going to set yourself up for a successful hire. That sort of leads us to the next point, which is not having enough SOPs or systems. A lot of new entrepreneurs, when they make their first hire, they really don't know how to delegate. They really don't have systems in place. They don't have SOPs written up. And so when they onboard something, it's really messy, right? No one knows what's happening. They don't know how to actually perform their job. And that's why having really great SOPs and systems is so important. A business is basically a combination of talent and systems. If you have those two and a great leader, then the company is in a really good position. And so I recommend before you actually start hiring or during the hiring process, you really put emphasis and time on creating your SOPs and systems. I don't take this lightly. This is the most important part of hiring. You can have great people, but if you don't have systems or SOPs in place, then onboarding them is going to be a nightmare. Getting them to do the proper job is going to be almost impossible. successful. So for every single task within your business, you need to have very detailed written up SOPs. Essentially, they need to be so detailed that if you give this SOP to any person, they can read that SOP, they can reference it, and they can do the job correctly. I know this is a boring part. It's really annoying to create SOPs, but it will pay off. So that's one big mistake that I see a lot of people making. The fifth common mistake sort of relates to the onboarding process. Yeah, this is holding your new hire accountable. Accountability, especially for overseas or especially for remote workers, is very, very challenging, right? That's one of the biggest drawbacks of not being there in person. And so if you're not able to look over their shoulder, how can you be actually sure that they are doing their job correctly and efficiently? That's why I think everyone who has remote workers should have daily calls with them, or at least they should have some type of end of the day report. In this report, your team should basically talk about what they did during the day, what things they finished and accomplished, and any outstanding concerns or questions that they have for you. If you have someone and you don't check in for a few days, then they really don't have any direction and the quality of work being done is drastically going to decrease. Another really great tip I have for you guys is to have some type of public scoreboard. This should be something that everyone in your organization should see, or at least you and that person. And as they complete tasks, as they do things correctly, this is where they basically put down their progress. You can even introduce some sort of competition within your team. And yeah, I guarantee you, if you aren't doing this already, this is going to have a drastic impact on the productivity and efficiency of your team. So yeah, those are 5 super common hiring mistakes that I see with business owners. And I really hope that this video can shed some light into how you guys can prevent these mistakes and really ensure that your hiring and your business is growing as fast as possible. If you guys do want some help with hiring overseas, I'll leave a link down below to Paired. You can learn more about our services and how we can help you build an amazing overseas team, especially if you want to save a lot of money on payroll. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you guys got some value from it. If you guys did, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more content just like this. This whole channel is dedicated at giving you guys free guides and tutorials helping you with your hiring needs. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you in the next video.